variety. Alright, let's go ahead and get my load at SWAT. Which I will want it. Be sure what I'm actually doing here. ARs, marksmen, SMGs. So a stall. Actually, let's do the night first. Then it's Senator. Hi, Yumi! It is going well. I am streaming while I am getting ready to also just record a short video. Speaking of which, let me start my recording and do my intro. Greetings, Helldivers. I am Diabolical Kanalga, and like many of you, I was very excited for the Halo ODST Warbond to come out, and I quite like everything in it, but I have some observations and some complaints, or requests for the developers. So, what I'm gonna do is a little bit of testing, and kind of get my thoughts out there in film format to kind of go over how I'm feeling, what I think of it, what I'd like to see change, that sort of thing. So, with the ODST Warbond, we received 2 weapons which are the first suppressed weapons in the game. We got the M7S SMG, just like RP and one-handed, suppress it. Oh, not suppress it, suppressed. And the M6C Sorcon pistol, which is light RK and one-handed suppressed. So, hopping into the Arity, looking at the stats. For the M7S, it has a very similar stat spread to the Stall and to the Knight. Between the Knight and the M7S, the Knight has higher capacity and higher fire rate, but loses out on suppressed. Also, the Knight can be modified. The Stall has higher recoil and higher fire rate. It also cannot be edited, but it has, well, a higher fire rate, so it has higher damage output. I am first going to be testing the Knight for its noise radius. For the secondary, the SOCOM has a Dow Joe 100, which is higher than the Peacemaker and the Warrant. The Peacemaker has 15 rounds of ammo. This loses 3 but gains 15 damage, which doesn't achieve any actual breakpoints. They are otherwise identical, but the SOCOM is purportedly suppressed. I bring in the second part because if there was a non-special secondary that should be allowed while still being a ballistics and not a shotgun, it'd be the Senator that I think of. So, I believe that the suppressed weapons do nothing. I'm gonna test that. And I'm gonna test some other things in particular. I'm just going to drop on a difficulty 1 bot mission. Specifically one with the Terminate Illegal Broadcast. This is because it will be lightly guarded with automaton troopers, and will have a very easy way to just get a line of sight, get a distance, and then test the audio for it.
Orbit synchronized.
I'll bring a supply pack, and that for the ammo. It is gonna force me to take others, so whatever. There. So, I'm gonna drop in and get a line of sight, and I'm going to start my test at 40 meters. Now, there's a spreadsheet out there that lists the noise profiles of the weapon categories, but it does not test each individual weapon. I'm going to be testing a handful of specific weapons.
The fate of all humanity's children are in your hands. Do not let them fall. Deploying support weapon.
Tagging map.
So, SMGs and Secondaries are all quieter than normal ranged weapons, according to the spreadsheet. The Knight is a good direct competitor, or direct comparison, as would be the Stall. I'm going to say exactly how loud or how far away the bots will notice and turn towards gunfire. Let's see here. So that lad right there is probably the one I want to test on. Is that one will be in the plants and be somewhat harder to observe.
Main objective near your position.
Can I get a nice, convenient line of sight on him? Doesn't look like it. I may just have to use the ones around the side. Oh, Frost! I am doing some testing. As I am wont to do at times, because I want to make sure that the information that I have and speak of is accurate. So, there is... There's a patrol coming over to ruin my day.
Never mind.
So, 35 meters? Can I ease up? So I can't make it the 40. Can't quite see him. It looks like he is facing away. He is 42 meters away. Patrol is gonna get closer than I would like.
Cancel that. Never mind.
So he's 40 meters, they're 30 meters. So, outside of 30 meters, they do not notice me. At 40 meters from him, now they notice. Oh wait, it was that last one in the patrol. That's what it was. So, they do properly go to investigate our last known location, which was the source of the noise. The scout are well pro, they can't see me, so they should back off. Once I squither far enough away. If I shoot him, then his entire patrol will just know where I am, because that's how the bots and such work. Or he'll just know where I am automatically anyways. Ah, shite. So they are not coming towards me. Feckin' patrol interrupting my testing. It's very unfortunate. Get on, piss off. Alright, so they're despawned. Now then, get them back to where I was. So, tagging that sucker. 40 meters. I think he is the closest. So 40 meters. It doesn't give a fuck. Senator. No fucks given. I will advance to 35 meters. Actually, let's do 36. You got no shite. Nothing. 35 meters? Nothing.
Last reload.
Fuck. I'm sorry, lad, but I am testing. So, 34 meters? He turns. So, the night can be heard at 35 meters and west. Now, let me get to where I can test the Senator as well. Have to climb up on this fucking rock to do it, but... So, 35... So, 35 meters, he will notice. So, the knight on the Senator, both will alert enemies within 35 meters when fired. Hold your position.
You have been a stalwart line of freedom. Extract when ready.
Dropping a pin.
Because I do want to just not sabotage our fucking war effort, I will extract. What? Now I will go get the stall and the talon. Because the stall is the most direct competition injury for the N7S. And then I will test the SOCOM and the actual N7S.
Deploying sentry. Firing orbital strike. Firing orbital barrage, clear the area. ETA, T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Wait. And if I remember to bother editing this, then I will cut out the long portion and I'll just cut together the actual testing parts of it. But I'm doing it live, so they get the hang out.
Helldiver lost. Sending replacement.
The fuck?
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
And that's how I learned that the incineration core is on the planet here.
ETA T-minus
Come here, you
30
bastard.
seconds.
Period.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds. ETA T-minus 10 seconds.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. This is Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown.
That was a bit overkill, don't you think?
Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
So, that is the Knight and the Senator tested. I'll test the Stall and the Talon. Because the Talon... Actually, no. I'll save that for last. I'll do the Verdict. And I think Verdict is probably... As far as their, like, roles, I think Verdict kind of competes with... Oh... SOCOM more directly than the Talon. The Talon is just better than either, in my opinion, but I want to keep this test like accurate comparisons of their role and their stats. And then I will do some armor testing as well. Although I can just say for a fact that the Halo armor, the feet first pass out, does work as it says it does. It's not as good as some people think it is, compared to Scout armor, which does much of the same thing. But we can get into that in a moment.
How dare the enemy sully our well-swept streets?
Aye, let's see, shared.
Operation
Terminate broadcast! Because I want to keep my tests as consistent as possible to maintain their integrity.
Orbit synchronized.
I'll drop there. Flight pack, so I've got plenty of ammo to work with. Alright. Here we go again. More testing time. And now in a private lobby, so I don't get intruded upon. Because
Let them come.
my brain's small, I forgo.
Let them face the insurmountable might of the Helldivers.
Tagging map.
Ooh, we've actually got a lad who is nicely isolated. So, we'll test at 40 meters. Didn't hear a thing. Didn't hear a fucking thing. 36 meters. You heard it. So let me just confirm that. 36 meters, solidly. He did not hear it. So, I was probably towing the line. That was probably actually 35 meters. Far away are they? 40 meters? Nope, they didn't hear that. At 36 meters, neither did he. I slink to 35. He did hear it. So, for the stall and the verdict, he will hear me at 35 meters. And while I'm in Scout Harbor and have such a nice testing opportunity,
Cancel that.
I want to see when he will turn when I walk up towards him in a Scout Harbor. Walk in. He notices me at...
Never mind.
About 15. About 13. About 10 meters. I got the warning ping from him because I'm within his vision cone, but for Sheeran only, should be right around 9 or 10 meters. Yep. So, you can get within 10 meters of them as long as you're not in their line of sight in even the Scout Armor. You can sprint from not quite as close, so it's like 12 meters. Let me sneak over into the bushes so I can actually test that proper. Let's see here. Can I... Looking at the spread of enemies. Thank you, Tremors. I need to wait for that to pass so I can actually sprint. Come on, turn back around, you bastard. "15 meters for his detection of me fucking sprinting. So, bear that in mind. 10 meters and 15 meters for walking and sprinting, respectively.
You've done your duty. You may extract with honor.
Dropping a pin.
Yeah, that ship can technically see me.
Sending down
That'll be my last known location. I've broken line of sight. I'm outside their hearing radius, so they should know that I'm actually here.
extraction
But that
zone
will
inbound.
attract any nearby patrols. Because that's how extraction works. So, bear in mind that that's the results for the stall and the verdict on the Scout Armor for how quiet it makes you when moving around. Because scout armor
Minus 1 minute,
is
30
passive,
seconds. Helldiver lost. Sending replacement.
makes you both harder to see and quieter.
Request approved. Reinforcements have been launched.
I was busy yapping and didn't pay as much attention to not die as I should have.
Firing orbital barrage. Clear ETA. T-minus 1 minute.
Not to mention the fact that while crashed or prone, you make no noise whatsoever. So, regardless what armor you're wearing, if you need to sneak, you can crouch or go prone, and that will function like a stacking scout passive to where it, well, for crouching and prone, you make no noise whatsoever,
ETA. T-minus
and
30
it
seconds.
reduces your visual threat radius. So, if you think you're gonna get spotted, hit the deck.
ETA.
And when stacked with the
20
scout
seconds.
armor, it gets downright silly. Especially if you have cover.
ETA. T-minus 10 seconds.
So, the Knight and the Stall have the same radius of 35 meters. The Senator and the Verdict both do as well.
Preparing for touchdown.
So, hey,
Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning
no
ascent.
fitting clue I'm there. This is relevant for when I get the fucking Halo armor out, which is what I will do now, as I will test the ODST armor mode, SMG, and pistol at the same time. And then I will be testing my preferred weapons, the Deadeye and the Was Talon, for a comparison.
I've rarely seen liberty dispensed so rapidly.
Alright, so I want the M7S, the SOCOM, and it is medium armored, the A9 Helljunter. Alright, so testing all of this in one go.
Our city burns. We must rescue it.
That's a spread democracy, not what I'm looking for. Also, spread democracy. I need a
Mission coordinates
terminate illegal
locked.
broadcast. Perfect.
Hellpods primed. Engaging orbital thrusters.
Looks like same map layout as last time, which is good.
Orbit synchronized. Launch initiated.
And once we test this, I'll test the Deadeye and the Talon. And then we will be good to go.
Go now, and fear the shadow of neither death nor tyranny, for justice is your cause.
Tagging map.
Alright. I don't have the scatter or passive, so I can't just know where the enemies are, which is unfortunate. I've got to use my eyes. And the actual, like, inbuilt thing.
Main objective nearby.
So, isolated one is... see here. I want that lad. So he about saw me from 37 meters. Is less than ideal. I think I want to get to the other side there. I think that angle will be better for me. Here we go. Alright, so 45 meters. I will pass to 40 meters. No response. No response. "36 meters is the next breakpoint. No response. No response. "35 meters. No response. No response. That patrol coming to me? No. 34 meters. No response yet. 32 meters. Got a response there. So, it seems like 33 meters is the range that it is quieted to. Let me check for the pistol. No response. 32. No response yet. 31. 31 meters there. So, looks like that the 31 to 32 meter range is when it will react to audio cues from firing the guns. I would like to get out of the feckin' water so I can actually test better. So, Vulcan to approach.
Cancel that.
I'd like to get behind him if I can. I'll have to test on the other one then. two lads. I'll test on this fecker right here. $10 meter, 8 meters, 6, 5, 4. $5 meters. So you can get within 5 meters. As opposed to the 10 for scout. Well, more like 9. 9 meters for scout, 5 meters for this. So he gets an extra 4 meters. Sprinting around.
Never mind.
You can get to 9 meters. So, it takes it from, 15-ish to 9.
Freedom, triumphs over
Actually,
tyranny
hang on.
once more.
I'll have to check my footage, but I think it was like... It was either 12 or 15 for the scout armor, for sprinting. I think it was 15. So you will be able to get significantly closer while walking and sprinting, as long as they don't see you. If they do turn line of sight on you, you will get caught. But the feet first passive does what it says it does. I think that if you're trying to do dedicated stealth, scout armor will be better. But if you are not committing to stealth, and you want to have like medium armor defenses, don't want to go full squishy scout armor for whatever reason, then I think feet first and the ODST armor is perfectly fine. The passives on it aren't great. For the POI discovery is not very useful, but the 30% quieter move speed, if you are hoofing it around the map and just want to be able to not get found by patrols, because they just don't track to your location, or on super cities where you have you cover to lose light of sight, I think the ODST hour will shine there. The upcoming terminates in the gloom that we'll be facing, I think could also very definitely have potential. If they have even more amped up hearing ranges than the current enemies, I think that it could excel there. The anti-lead break is all like injuries to the gate. Breaking your lines is pretty good. I'd say in value of like priority, like chest injuries, and then leg injuries after that. For those are the ones that don't get you killed.
ETA T-minus 20 seconds.
So, if you want to run the ODST armor, by all means, do so. Your stealth will come from being on the move constantly, whereas the scout armor lets you like properly sneak into a place.
This is Pelican 1. I have visual on the extraction zone. This is Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown.
I think the biggest argument for scout armor over the ODST armor is tied up in the opportunity cost of it.
Pelican 1 beginning ascent.
Because for the ODST armor, you're giving up the 30% visual detection range reduction and the scout radar pings, which is very helpful. And honestly, it's probably more helpful than the increased point of interest radius, because on higher difficulties you can just look at the minimap, see what looks like might be a structure or a point of interest, and ping it. and see if there are enemies there. If so, it's a point of interest. If not, oh well. For the point of interest especially, it's because it's percentage based, which most point of interests have about a 10-meter discovery radius, where it will stop on your map. Which 10 meters increased by 30% is 13 meters, so you get a whole 3 meters of greater discovery. So unless you're somehow going to
Welcome
walk
back.
past it and miss it,
Well done.
I don't think that'll be impactful most of the time. So, and by comparison, markers that you place on the map with the scout radar will ping radar, the same as the radar that is centered on your Helldiver. And you can do that from anywhere to find the way out of enemies and infiltrate better and more effectively. But, you know. Talbot, the West Town is, in my opinion, the best secondary for stealth outside of, like, the grenade pistol for objectives. I'm going to test the Deadeye because that is my personal preference on maximum rifle. I like the diligence counter sniper as well, but the Deadeye has been my baby since it came out.
Need to requisition some.
The enemy is attempting to seize one of our planets. We must join the defense. Operation accomplished. Your valor is beyond question.
But I had to need a different fucking planet. And it's Finmire. Finmire's good. I want... Not that. Actually, that'll be fine, but... Alright, I'll take stack fuel pumps.
Initiating FTL jump to
I would have preferred if I had another Terminate broadcast to test with, just so that it is completely the same throughout all of them, but I'll take what I can get.
Jump complete. Mission coordinates locked. Hellpods prime.
Because I'm pretty sure that the West Town is quieter than the SOCOM. For this objective, I don't need anything really other than, I guess, that.
Launch initiated.
I just need to go find a bot who is isolated so I can test. Which should be easy enough.
Today the light of liberty will grace the skies of this world once more.
Tagging map.
And to get close enough for the bots to load in. It's like we'll have a WAD isolated over here. Perfect. Don't mind me, you didn't hear a thing. So, 32 meters. But let me go to 36. Not the 34. It does hear me at 35 meters. Alright. So, 35 meters, same as the other secondaries. I'll back up to 40. Meter. 40 meter got his attention. 40. I can't see shite because of the fucking plots. Stop that. What, to slink backwards to 45 meters? What if 5 meters he does hear me? Obviously, I'll normally be shooting from outside that range anyways if I'm picking off guards. 56. Not it. 54. Nothing. 49. So 50 meters for the Deadeye.
Objective near your position.
And that's because they saw me kill one.
Sending down sentry. Deploying sentry.
But I got what I wanted. So, it seems like the suppressors do technically work. And that they reduce the audible range by 1 or 2 meters. Which will, in most situations, not be relevant in any capacity. And it will certainly not make any impact on stealth play, as neither of them are quite enough to let you properly infiltrate a base and deal with it quietly.
Victorious yet again.
Compared to our other options of like marksman rifles to pick enemies off from a distance, the fact that the SMG will take multiple shots to kill most things, made in that they will get multiple sound ticks. And just marksman rifles or stuff like the crossbow or a grenade pistol you can use to sound lure the enemies away, they'll just be more effective
Sending down sentry.
in 9 out of 10 situations. They do technically work, it looks like, based off of my testing.
ETA
But
1 minute 30 seconds.
I suppose that also kind of depends upon your definition of working in this case. Do I think that would make them useful? Not really. Like, if you're thinking, alright, I'm going to run my ODST armor and like move in tactically and like, you know, slip around corners and pop butt heads, the SOCOM won't help you there. If it's trimming what, 2-3 meters at most off of the audio detection range, then you're still gonna be in the middle of the base and everything's gonna be able to hear you, same as if you use the Talon. or the senator, or the verdict, or any other ranged weapon that is a secondary.
ETA T-minus 30 seconds.
The SMGs have pretty much the same sound profile as the M7S.
ETA T-minus
So-
20 seconds.
The supposed benefit of it being suppressed just isn't there.
ETA
That
T-minus
said,
7 seconds. Clear landing
it is a
zone.
perfectly fine SMG. It feels nice, it sounds good, but it doesn't fill the role of a stealth weapon.
This is Pelican 1.
The SOCOM
I have visual on the
handles nicely, it
extraction
feels nice. It looks good, it sounds
zone.
good,
Pelican 1, preparing for touchdown.
but it's not quiet enough to justify, and it's lacking in damage for one very specific breakpoint that
Extraction complete.
is
Pelican 1
absolutely
beginning ascent.
critical to talk about, because bots are the faction that people started going stealth against. From, you know, way back in the early days of the game, in the days of yore, when the rockets would multi-hit you to delete you instantly, and you were permanently ragdolled in open engagements, and all that sort of shite, back there like the OG Malevolent Creek days. And that breakpoint that is so fucking critical is the breakpoint to one-shot Devastators to the head. Because the Devastator head is unarmored, it has 110 health points. The SOCOM pistol does exactly 100 damage. And because weapons in this game do have bullet drag and damage fall off, is there a ballistics weapon, my dear? With a few exceptions.
That was what I call a profitable use
Well,
of resources.
one exception, that being the Dominator. But SOCOM has 100 damage, which means it suffers from the same thing the Verdict did on release, which is that it can't one-tap Devastator heads. And just buffing it up to 110 would technically make it hit the breakpoint, except for the fact that there is damage fall-off at range. Bullet drag. So you would need to make it probably 116, maybe 120, for it to effectively pop Devastator heads at any distance. And given how little the suppressed trait does for them, if you wanted to pop heads at that distance, it would simply have to be like 115, 120 damage to offset the fall off and let you use this stuff to its advantage. So, my thoughts on things that I'd like to see happen. For the ODST armors, I would like them to see the A9 Helljumper. I would like them to see I would like to see them shift its stats to the heavy medium armor profile and the A35 recon to the light medium profile. Because there are medium armors that break the mold, unless I'm mistaken. There we go. Oh wait, no, what? The unfunction passive, giving it extra on. Okay, so, never mind. I was mistaken, there is not medium heavy. They have it classified as light, but it's like the heavier version of light, like the Infiltrator armor. Where is it? Here we go. So, the Scout armor, the white squaff, which is the more standard, has 50 armor, 550 speed, 125 stamina regen. The Infiltrator is a bit heavier, has 70 armor rating, 530 speed, and 115 stamina regen. And the Demolition Specialist also is a breakpoint that is actually between these two. Likewise, on the heavy armor side of things, most of them are 150, with 450 for the speed and 50 stamina regen. somewhere in here there's... Well, that's just extra padding. May not have bought it, maybe in the superstore. But there's a heavy armor that is on the lighter side, relatively. So I'd like to see them shift, you know, the A9 Hell Jumper into the heavier side, and the A35 Recon to the lighter side. That way they are different, and not just cosmetic swaps. For the M7S SMG, really all I want is for them to make the suppressor work effectively. If they made the effectiveness of the suppressor cut the, noise profile down to 15 meters. Or 20 meters. I'd argue for 15, but I'd accept 20. I say that would make it an actual viable option for stealth gameplay, where you can use it in fairly close quarters, and I'd accept it. That would offset the lower fire rate, so technically lower DPS, it versus the stall and the night, which are its direct competition pretty much. I'd head of the pummeler, but the pummeler's got an even lower fire rate and it's got more stagger, so I'll really count it here. But between these three, if they made it so the N7S is quiet enough to be used within the 15 to 20 meter range without alerting enemies within that radius around you, I'd call that good. I'd call that fair. I'd say, alright, this is your stealth gameplay SMG. The the M6C SOCOM pistol needs a little bit more love. It should have at least 115 damage, and I think it would need to be suppressed to the, 5 meters is probably too much, so probably 10 meters. 10 meter noise radius, or maybe 7? 7 meters I think would be okay. 5 meters it'd be a little bit silly, because at that point you're almost in melee range. But that would line up with the ODST armor's feet first, because you can walk up to it in 5 meters, so you can walk through a base, avoiding line of sight, slip up to 5 meters, and then pop them in the dome. Or if you're using the scout armor, you can position yourself a bit more aggressively to aim for devastator heads. Or you could use the ODST armor to slip up alongside them at a bit farther range, and still not get noticed, but a little bit of an angle from the side on their head. But again, it is altered 15 damage, and this person needs to actually function in a useful capacity. For the armor, I really think that the only things... No, fuck it. I think the point of interest identification range would need to be tuned up to 100. That'd take it from a 10 meter radius on most points of interest to a 20 meter radius. That could actually be useful. That's 2 of the tidy squares on the minimap. It still wouldn't be the most useful, but it would be better than this. That, or change it to it increases your personal radar radius by 30% instead of point of interest, so that your
Killing those squids, Helldiver.
radar pings for enemies around yourself is longer, the same as the fucking nuclear radar that increases your minimap in a routine radius by 50%. Let the siege first, instead of it being a point of interest thing, make it do the same thing, but 30%. Because that would stack, it would stack with the booster for the UAV recon booster. His percentage I don't remember because no one ever uses it. But, it's, So swap the point of interest to enemy radar. Immediate leg injuries is fine, it fits. 50% less noise while moving. As long as you avoid line of sight, that's good. And if it increased your enemy radar radius, that would make it easier to know where enemies are before you get to them. And you can, play it slow, figure out exactly where they are, identify their line of sight, and then slip around behind them quite and all that sort of shit. And then, like I mentioned, adjust this one's armor up, speed and stamina down, this one's armor down, speed and stamina up. Just like a half step. Give it, I'll leave them both as medium, but just like, fucking, how much does this profit by? Goes up by 20, that goes down by 20 and 20. And goes up by 20, down by 20 and 10. So, this would go to like 120 and then down to like 480 and 90. And this would go down to your 80 with 520 and 110. Just to differentiate between the two beyond just, this is the heavy version, this is the light version. They're the same. Like, they'd both still be medium-ish armors, but now they would be functionally different, or whether you want to be the more shock troopery version with slightly heavier armor, that'll take a little bit less chip damage, or the slightly faster, slightly sneakier version that's a bit more mobile, at the cost of a little bit of survivability. Those are the changes I'd make. For the rest of the ODST Warbond, I don't know, maybe give the MA5C slightly more damage? The MA5C competes with the Adjudicator, but they're honestly pretty much side grades. Maybe give the MA5C like 10 damage? See, so 30 by 95 is what? 195 damage per mag? No, it's more than that. Let's see. 285? 2,850. Is that right? Hang on. Please hold, VTuber has to do math. 285 damage per mag versus 240. What? 256? So, like, if you bumped that up by, oh no, 10 damage? That'd give this an extra 320 damage per mag, which would take it from like 250 to like 280-ish, which would put it a lot closer to the Adjudicator for like damage per mag, since it'd still be a little bit lower, but it would then have, it would be more competitive, since the Adjudicator has access to weapon customization. So like, you know, pump the MA5C to 90 damage. I think that'd be good. I think that'd be fair without being just overwhelmingly good. Fine as it is now, it's just kind of a side grade from the Adjudicator. But, and then for the M90A shotgun, I think this is also just fine as it is. It's good, it's strong, it hits hard. It's light armor pin, but like, most of the things you'd want to use it again are light armor. Exception being like Hive Guard. And I guess Illuminate Overseer heads. It doesn't do well into Overseers, but against the other two factions it does well, and it will overkill the fuck out of Voteless. and actually handles flesh mobs decently well just because it takes 10 shells, but you can rouse reload to fire, or reload as you fire, so it'll be fast, but it does it in 10 shots. So, kind of okay. He is a bit ammo hungry, maybe in the additional magazine. Or another magazine's worth of ammunition. That or you can have a supply pack glued to your back, I'd say. But like, as far as its stats and its profile, it's fine. It's thumbs up for me. But anyways, those are kind of my thoughts. It won't take much to make it, like, all sortily good. You know, I'd call it like A-tier weaponry and armor. Because then, if you don't want to commit to, you know, scout armor, or even the infiltrator, you can choose between the Helljumper and Recon and the... where is it? Combat Technician armor. Which is your, like, medium scout armor. But then I would argue that, like, okay, if you're going to medium armored, you've got your option of this, which will be the best for being a sneak. But you've also got these as options that are more competitive than they are currently. What? That about sums up my feelings on the ODST Warbond, that sums up my testing, and then's my thoughts. So I'm going to stop the recording, and then I can do some actual gameplay or something. Or I might just call it there, actually. It's a Friday night. I was here because I was curious and wanted to do testing, and I've done my testing. I'm good. I'm gonna go do something else, I think. And then I will find some time to trim down that video, I think. But first I'm gonna find some to read, just because I feel bad not reading up to other people, because they can own, eh? I was like reading out. It feels nice. And he's live. Kind of an awkward time, I fear, but let's see. Not Natsume's don't smell that stew. I'll send you to someone who can actually do some content. So, for those of you who came to hang around and watch me yap and painstakingly test weapons and armor and the like, I appreciate it very much. Thank you all for tuning in and dropping by. Until next time, which will be tomorrow when I turn with some of the other members of Polko to play more Helldivers 2. I love you all so much. Thank you, and goodbye.